Hi, welcome to Planetary Calendars, Astro Portraits. I'm Ralph Demetrius, one of the astrologers. This is one of our action series portraits. It's women actresses who have performed in action roles. And the actress this time is Uma Thurman, a Taurian. Now, it's funny, you wouldn't normally think of Taurians as being, into action roles, and yet Gal Gadot, who plays Wonder Woman, is also a Taurian. In fact, there's some real parallels between their two charts. What we have found consistently in these charts are very strong Mars and Mercury ruled charts. Now, with some Jupiter thrown in there here and there, but Mars and Mercury are really the two, and it goes back to our concept that Mars and Mercury are kind of the pawns of the chess, set of the astrological hierarchy, and that they're the ones who get into stuff. They're the ones who, you send out there and say, see what's going on, and go out there and fix it. Mars, Mercury. She has the Sun in Taurus. She also has Saturn in Taurus conjunct the Sun. It tends to make her very, very disciplined. She has Mercury in Taurus retrograde. Not that close to the Sun. It's at 22 degrees. The Sun's at 8 degrees. Saturn's 11 degrees. Mercury's at 22 degrees. Gemini is very strong in her chart. She has Venus and Mars in Gemini. Okay? Fairly closely conjunct, 2 to 7 degrees Gemini. So there we see the Gemini connection. Now this is interesting because in our previous two portraits, Jennifer Garner and Gal Gadot, they both had Mars in Gemini. Interesting, huh? Gal Gadot has her Venus in Aries. Jennifer Garner has her Venus in Gemini. So Jennifer Garner and Uma Thurman both have that Mars and Venus conjunct in Gemini. So there's that quickness, that facile nature, that willingness to get things moving, to be very youthful and playful. And remember, Gemini has a lot to do with the hands, and it's about martial arts. And both of them, in the roles that they've played, have done a lot of martial arts. Uma Thurman did the whole Kill Bill series with swords and such. Now it's interesting that she did the Kill Bill series, which was very much about swords, blades. Why? She has Virgo rising. Now, we tend to think of Virgo as the virgin, innocent. In truth, Virgo relates very strongly to metal, to talents with sharp objects. Why? It's harvest time. It's the time when you go through the field with the scythe. You go into the vines with the little hooked knife and very, very quickly clip off the bunches of grapes. That's Virgo. It's the using tools, using sharp objects. So having Virgo rising, it makes perfect sense in her chart. Now she has the Sun at 8 degrees Taurus. She has rising 1 degree Virgo. Now, what else is at 1 degree Virgo? The star Regulus, heart of the lion. It's a position that we see show up in actors and personalities, like television personalities charts, again and again and again and again. It makes the person very noticeable, very luminous, very open-hearted, and she has it rising. She has the moon in Aquarius, and that's a bit of an outlier. Aquarius is a Saturn ruled sign traditionally. Now she has Saturn conjunct the Sun in the 9th house. So there's a certain connection going on there, and because the Sun's in the 6th house, it's the house of her basic skill set. Second house is the area of your talents. You may have a beautiful singing voice. That's second house. 6th house. That's where you learned how to use a computer or a sewing machine or a hammer and a screwdriver. That's 6th house. She has moon in Aquarius there. Aquarius is, the extrovert side of Saturn and has a lot to do with, the airwaves and it's very visual. And it means to a certain extent her ability to work with a camera, the visuals of a camera, is one of her real skill sets. And it's funny because they always said this about Marilyn Monroe, that she knew how to play to the camera, that she made love to the camera. She was really good at that. And it's something, if you ever see photos of Uma Thurman, she really has that same talent. And the fact that the moon is there, she goes beyond her personal self. It's not about me, it's about how I look, how I appear, and how it communicates to other people, because it's Aquarius. With Aquarius, it's always about you and other people. A beautiful quality in her chart. Oh, one of the things I should point out, too, about the martial stuff before I get into the other stuff, is Jupiter in Scorpio in the third house. The third house, once again, is hands, right? It's the Gemini house. Jupiter in Scorpio, right? Jupiter at 0 degree Scorpio, right there on the threshold. Once again, Kill Bill and the swords. That you get that appears again. I mean, for all the great work that she's done, that will be one of the roles that she's really remembered for, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, she's done beautiful, beautiful work, but, things that are very Taurian, things which are very beautiful and graceful. And yes, she'll be remembered in part because of her work with sharp objects in aggressive situations that happen quickly. Gemini, Virgo, Scorpio, Mars, and Mercury. Now, there is a wonderful quality here. One thing that's real interesting is that she has the South Node, North Node aligned with her rising and setting. This is something we see many, many times with actors. Why? The nodal axis has to do with our reincarnational experiences. When it's aligned with your rising and your setting, it means that you're very much in touch with that. You can draw upon those experiences very easily. One of the ways people will say it's, oh, you're very related to your matriarchal line. Yeah, I guess so. Because it is. But maybe you're related very strongly to your emotional line, to your lunar line. But the reality is, for actors, it means that when they have to play a role, they can draw upon this reincarnational history, this reincarnational memory, to pull those roles up. Now, hers is in Virgo. So it was many reincarnational experiences of working, of being in service to others, of working to others, of healing others, of caring to others, of taking care of details. The Virgo rising is very helpful for an actor because they're very good at taking instructions. They'll take them very precisely. They really listen. Virgo really listens to instructions. At least most Virgos do. Some don't. Now, the other thing that's rising, and is between the node and the ascendant, is it's a lunar point called Selena. It's a lovely point. When people have Selena rising, it tends to mean that they are just lovely to have around them. When they arrive upon the scene, it's as if, grace has walked among you. There's just something very lovely and graceful and illuminated about them that they bring to their daily experience with other people. It's a lovely position when you look at someone's chart and say, oh, they have Selena rising. You say, of course they do. It's obvious. It's just obvious. And it's something you see in her. I've never seen a photo of Uma Thurman where she doesn't look lovely. And that's saying a lot because, these people in this field, they get thousands of photos taken of them, probably hundreds of thousands. She just has this great ability to bring this gracefulness to her experience, which once again is so different from what you'd expect from someone in an action role. But she has that strong Gemini there. She has, that strong Virgo, and then she has that Scorpio there. It's very tilted in a particular direction. Looking at Jennifer Gardner's chart, for instance, she has really nothing significant in Scorpio. That depth that Scorpio has is not part of her experience. That deep strategic thinking is not part of her experience, but it is part of Uma Thurman's experience. So much so that when you watch her roles, you always feel like she might be plotting something. She's plotting something deeper. You know, you don't want to cross her because she will plot revenge. And that's that Jupiter in the third house. You know, and the Jupiter in the third house at 0 degrees Scorpio is in almost an exact sextile to that Virgo rising. You know, and then the Virgo rising, you know, all the planets there, she has the sun, the rising, she has Selena to the nose, she has Pluto at 25 degrees Virgo, which also gives a sense of power when, you know, you don't see it, but you feel it, is trine by sign all the stuff that she has in Taurus. Right above the ascendant, at 14 to 15 degrees, she has Vesta and then Lilith. It's at the other nodal point, another nodal point. But Vesta right above the horizon like that gives her a very, very strong sense of mission. And it's in Leo. So that desire to be on stage for her was a strong sense of mission. She really, you know, it gave her the stick-to-itiveness to pursue an acting career, which is something that you got to have. So that's the chart of Uma Thurman, a bit different from some of the other ones that we've seen, but, you know, very unique to the types of roles that she has played. So until next time, you can find us at Planetary Calendar Astrology on YouTube. You can find our portraits every Tuesday. You can find our forecast for the coming week every Friday. Please subscribe, you know, and click that little alarm button so when the forecasts come up, you know about them. You can also find us at planetarycalendar.com where you can find the calendars. We have, right now, we're sending the 2022s out, and it's all of its various different sizes, the day planner, and then, you know, the compact wall size, and then, you know, the full wall size. And then for those of you, us who, you know, really love our devices, we have the electronic version as well. Like I said, once again, at planetarycalendar.com. Until next time, be well.